Good evening, everyone. Let's continue with masteryonghua Shanqi instructions.
那么现在你做佛也是你一念心，做菩萨也是以你一念心做的。
So now for you, becoming a Buddha is also done with a single thought. Becoming a Bodhisattva is also done with a single thought.
做阿罗汉也是你一念心做的，做声闻也是一念心做的。
Becoming an arhat is also done with a single thought, and becoming a sound hearer is also done with a single thought.
做这个天人，你升到天上去，和天主在一起，这也是你一念心。
Becoming a celestial being, you ascend to the heavens to be with the heavenly gods. This is also done with a single thought of yours.
你变成恶修罗，这也是一念心。你做人也是因为你一念心。
You becoming an asura is also done with a single thought. You becoming a human is also due to a single thought of yours.
你要知道为什么做了人呢？因为你欢喜做人嘛，所以现在做了人了。
If you want to know why you became human, it's because you liked being human. So now you are a human being.
如果你不欢喜做人，你欢喜做鬼去，那么现在在鬼的那个眷属里。
If you didn't like being human and preferred to go and become a ghost, then you would now be among the retinue of ghosts.
你要欢喜下地狱，就到地狱。说没有人欢喜下地狱，不错。
If you are happy to fall into hell, then you will end up in hell. It's said that no one is happy to fall into hell. This is correct.
我刚才也讲过。
Okay, stop. Oh, continue. It's not done yet.
受苦是因为弯曲性，那个不好的心，才受苦。
I just said that suffering is due to a crooked mind. Only a bad heart suffers.
受苦就是做地狱。
To suffer is to fall into hell.
既然知道做什么都是一念心，那你现在这个心就应该立到一个最好的这个目标上。
Since you know that whatever you do arises from a single thought, you should set your current mind on the best possible goal.
最好你就是你最欢喜那个地方，你要到那个地方去。
The best goal is the place that you like the most. You aim to go to that place.
这就是今天我和你们讲的这个普通的道理。
This is a basic principle I am sharing with you today.
我也说过，也不和你们讲最好的这个法，也不和你们讲最快的。
I have also said that I won't tell you the best method, approach, nor will I tell you the worst.
讲平常法，什么叫最坏的法？我本来不教，不过我可以稍微讲一点。
What I am reviewing, what is meant by the worst Dharma. I originally didn't teach this, but I can explain a little.
讲一讲，讲一点点。哎，
I'll talk about it just a little. Yes.
你现在可不可以回到家里，把你爸爸妈妈用枪毙了的？你要把他用枪毙了，所有的财产都可以归你所有了。
Could you now return home and shoot your father and mother with a gun? If you shoot them to death, all the assets can belong to you.
啊，你不要给我多了，1%就可以了，给我1%。
You don't need to give me much, just 1% will do.
你要回去做，这就是恶法，这就是恶法。
Give me 1%. You must go back and do it. Kill them. This is an evil dharma. This is an evil dharma.
那么你说，我不愿意做这个杀父杀母的事情啊，那你还有点善性。那我现在呢？
When you say, I am unwilling to commit patricide and matricide, then you still have some goodness.
教你一个善法啊，怎么样善法呢？你
Now, I will teach a wholesome dharma. What kind of wholesome dharma?
你帮助人，你去小做一个好人，小做一个佛。
You help others. You go learn to be a good person. You learn to be a Buddha.
啊，佛太难了啊！那你可以小做一个菩萨。
If becoming a Buddha is too difficult, then you can learn to be a Bodhisattva.
做菩萨也不容易的，那你可以小做一个恶汉。
If being a Bodhisattva is also not easy, you can learn to be an Arhat.
阿罗汉也没有人缘，他就一个人在那个地方啊，一天到晚这么打坐，没有什么快乐。
An Arhat also lacks affinity with people. He is alone at that place, meditating like that all day long, without much happiness.
那你想要做什么？我告诉你，你就可以做一个善知识。
So what do you want to become? I will tell you. You can become a good knowing advisor.
小你们这位的教授啊，想尽方法来教化这所有的学生，增长他的智慧，这也就可以。
Learn from this professor. Think of all possible methods to educate all the students and enhance their wisdom. That will do.
Okay, stop. Let's go back to the original slide. What was it? 94. Thank you. Okay. Master Shinhua is teaching you his fundamental teachings. Okay. It is from his book. The 10 Dharma realms are from a single mind. And that's what he's trying to explain to us. But I happen to disagree with him. I don't want you to talk like this to people because there's a disconnect here. If you talk to people, they have no idea what you're talking about. If you talk to a person who's really not committed, not committed to cultivation, they're just trying to make ends meet. They're trying to have a decent life. There's no point talking to them about becoming a bodhisattva. I have a problem with that. It sounds good in general, but for me, it turns me off because it's not for me. I'm very practical. I suffer so much. I struggle so much every day. And so you tell me to become a bodhisattva or a Buddha, I say it's so far removed. I have a hard time connecting with that. Okay? But let's go through it. Here's my problem. This is where it's misleading. He says becoming a Buddha is done with a single thought. Becoming a bodhisattva is also done with a single thought. It sounds like you meditate and then one day you say, I want to become a Buddha. Doesn't it sound like to you? And you maybe come to the Wei Mountain Temple and you fool around. One day you said, I'm going to become a bodhisattva. It doesn't work like that. Especially if you want to become even an arhat. If your goal is become an arhat, sound here, as you say, I want to become an arhat, while you're meditating, you say, I want to become an arhat. You never become an arhat. So these three groups in particular are misleading. The sage realms, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, sound hearers cannot be reached with one thought. This is misleading. Okay? We learn this because I know that's what the Chinese are taught and it makes sense to them. But for me personally, I don't agree with this kind of thinking. Okay? You become a Buddha, you become a bodhisattva, you become an arhat because you have the one thought. But long time ago, you planted the seed to become an arhat. You planted the seed to become a bodhisattva. You planted the seed to become a Buddha. Some times ago. But when you meditate, you don't need to do anything. So this is very misleading. He says, so it sounds like you're meditating on one thought, you come up and Francis said, oh, now I want to become an arhat. I'm tired of this. And guess what? You never become an arhat and you behave like that. So this is misleading. This is wrong instructions. It's not how it happens. However, if you want to become a celestial being, okay, yeah, you can do it while you're meditating. If you want to become an asura, yes, you can do it while you're meditating. If you want to become a human, yes, you can do it with that one thought, anytime, okay? You want to be a ghost? Yes, you can have that one thought, anytime. You want to go to the hells? Yes, you can have that one thought. You want to go to an animal realm? What happened in the animal realms? Yes, you can have that one thought. You say, cool. It would be nice to be a prized horse that a sheikh in Saudi Arabia adores and spends more money on you than his own subjects. Okay, so you see, these three, the idea here is that you need to strike a thought. You say, I want to become a Buddha. I want to become so-and-so. Okay, do it before you meditate, and don't worry about it. Because your seeds are planted, and when the conditions are ripe, it's going to happen. You don't have to strike another thought. Furthermore, it's misleading to say, I want to go to the house and go to the house. What's more is that you can go to the house whether you like to go to the heavens or not because of the weight of your karmas. No one wants to go to the house. So that's why this section here is a little bit off to me. Okay, I know of a disciple of Master Shenhua who gave me a lot of grief and slandered me and concocted a lot of stories. And they tacitly approved it, his disciples. And so I knew she would go to the house, not just any type of house, but a very worst house. So I look at them and say, you're going to protect her or not? They can't. So I look at Master Shenhua and said, it's between you and me. If you want to save your disciple, I will not get in your way. And she still went to the house. Okay, so that's a proof right there. What I'm speaking to you is from real world experience. It's not just theory. Is it clear? All right. Suffering is done with a crooked mind, only a bad heart suffers. True, but how does it help me? I have a crooked mind. I'm arrogant. I'm selfish. Yes? How does you're telling me they have a crooked heart, therefore I'm suffering? I'm suffering already. Huh? Aren't you suffering? You're struggling so much. Every one of us struggles so much every day. Either it's from depression, from worried about your family, worried about your jobs, okay? Worry about the politics, worry about the world, worry about the environment. There are more and more worries, more and more sufferings, not less. You don't need to have a crooked mind to suffer. But it's true. If your mind is crooked, now you're bound to suffer more. But to say this to me, from a Western educated person, I find that the connection too loose. You cannot talk to me like that as a Westerner, especially after I've seen what I've seen. Okay? This is too casual for me. To suffer is fall into the hells. Not necessarily. Suffer, you can go into depression and then you go into a ghost state. You don't necessarily fall to the hells. Okay? See, here's his theme. All that is to give you the principle. Wherever you go, okay, arises from a single thought. And therefore, you should set your best goals. That is correct. Okay? This is totally correct. What I try to tell you people is that don't set your goals too low. Don't sell yourself short. There's so much that you're capable of if you simply set forth the mindset, I want to become a Buddha. I want to become a Bodhisattva. That's what you ought to be doing. Okay? If you do that, you know what? Chances are that you get help. You know, in Mahayana, we're so desperate for disciples that when someone wants to go for the big thing, big deals, we will do our all to help you, each and every one of you, if you only just believe. It's not something you can understand. However, it's not something you should sell yourself short either. Is that clear? That's your dilemma. It's so far-fetched, you can't believe, you can't see it. Okay? But it's worthwhile to say, I want to someday become a Buddha. And if possible, I'd like to become a Bodhisattva, the sooner the better. Why? Because I'm worth it. People sell you short because they want to control you. Just like we men, our wives tell us to go to work and earn money to take care of the family. It works. So we slave ourselves taking care of the family. We don't have time to worry about becoming bigger deals because it's a big struggle enough. You don't have time. You don't have the energy to think about such lofty goals. And that's why you need to have a balance. Okay? Yes, you're suffering, but also it's a temporary state, I assure you. Whatever you're suffering right now is only temporary. For example, for some reason, many of you come to me because you have depression. Maybe because you feel a little bit of relief. When you come to the temple, you're not suffering as much. You don't feel as depressed. Okay? But all those are very useful for you to feel that if you could come and experience this relief here at the temple, that means that look around you. There are many people who look normal. They used to be as depressed as you are, if not more. I'm one of them. And that's why now our people are trained, are taught to help people with depression because we know what it's like to be depressed. So you'll be taught how to overcome your depression. I promise you. That's my interest. Okay? So you don't have to be a victim to your conditions. Okay? That's why it's so important for you to set your goals a little bit higher. That's why go for bodhisattvahood, at least. Don't be so worried about making money and supporting your wives and the family. Okay? We should. I'm not saying we shouldn't. But spend some energy and time planning for the big future. Shooting for the moon, if you will. Okay? That's what he says. Set your goals. Okay? See, I talk differently to you. The way he talks is Chinese, I guess. I talk is more, this is where I'm coming from. And so you want to go to the best place? Okay? No, I don't care for a place. I care for what I'll become. If I feel good about being a god, I say, I want to be the heavenly king. heavily minister. Okay? If you do that, one day you will. Again, don't sell yourself short. It's all one thought right there. It is so true. Okay? So here's our basic principle that I'm sharing with you today. Okay? I'll tell you what the verse is. Okay? Come home, shoot your father and give me 1%. Okay? That's a very bad idea. And even if you give me 1%, I will not take it. I don't care. Because the 1% of money that's dirty, I have to pay for it eventually. My disciples have to pay for it. If I take blood money, it will not last. This temple cannot last. One day this temple will deteriorate because it's built upon blood money. Will rot by itself. Or will rot because my disciples would fight each other and kill each other, okay, to get their ways. Let's be clear about this, folks. Don't be short-sighted. If we know that money is not clean, we don't want to take it. We say thank you for your kindness, but you should give it to a church or another temple close by here who really needs it more than we do. We're perfectly happy being poor. We only take good money, not money from killing our parents, your parents. Okay, whatever wholesome dharma, be a good person, learn to be a Buddha. Okay, that's a good thing to do. Is it too difficult? You're a Buddha, then you become a Bodhisattva. Okay? What I'm telling you is Buddha, to me, is so far away. It's very hard to become a Buddha. I said, yes, I want to become a Buddha. Okay, because I'm supposed to. That's the highest goal there is. Most challenging thing in life. But I was settle for becoming a Bodhisattva before that. You know why? Because that's when you begin to understand true happiness. An arhat doesn't quite understand happiness yet. Again, 117 is misleading. Okay, especially if you use the term "kwai le." It's not quite that. The reason that the Hinayana people love arhatship is because they feel very blissful, very happy, happier than all of us. You think you're happy, you ain't seen nothing yet until you become an arhat. Okay? And so that's why what he says here is incorrect. Arhats begin to experience happiness, but it's a small happiness. What they're missing out is the big happiness of a bodhisattva. But so to say that he doesn't know happiness is incorrect for me. Okay? Yeah, he can talk like this to the people back then where they didn't know anything, and they just, Buddhism is the same to them as Hinduism or yoga, whatever. Okay? So you can be relaxed and talk about it. My disciples, I can't talk to you like this because it's too misleading. Okay? As I tell you, it's very worthwhile to become an arhat because you feel happy. but you'll be a lot happier when you reach bodhisattvahood. So why stop halfway? Okay? So that's why I'm no longer worried about you, because you heard it tonight. Therefore, when you reach arhatships and sound hearer status, I know you continue to press on. Because that's what I'm hoping that you would not lose sight of. The big fun. Why settle for the small? Go for the gusto. Go for the big deal. Go for Guinness. Did you know Guinness is having a shortage right now? Too many women are drinking Guinness. Even Europeans don't have enough Guinness to drink. This is terrible. Never mind. How did I get there? Never mind. Okay. Meditate like all day. They meditate all day because they're very blissful. They're so happy. Okay? You can become a good known advisor. Is that where we at? We're not there yet? Huh? 120? Okay. You can become a good knowing advisor. Why? This is where I differ from him. A good knowing advisor is someone who can help. What makes you think you can help? And that's a problem with parents, for example. They're so confused. They think they're helping their children, but they're not. No parent intentionally would do anything to harm their children. They do their best to guide them. But what they don't realize is their guidance is bad for the children. I'm talking about just your own children. You can't even help them. Why would you want to help anyone else outside of your family? You're bad enough. Now you're confused and you spread your confusion. Learn this from a professor, the educate student, enhance the wisdom that will do. Professors cannot give you wisdom. Boy, it's so bad tonight, huh? I disagree with 90% of what he says. Okay? You learn from this professor in order to acquire worldly skills. You can't really help people, because helping people, in my book, means you have enough wisdom to know what's best for them, not best for you. When you learn from a professor, from your degrees, you only learn what's best for you. Enhance students' wisdom. If you have no wisdom, how can you possibly, if your professor has no wisdom, which is the case of 99% of the professors that I've seen, okay? You cannot possibly enhance your students' wisdom. You can only enhance their knowledge. Okay. I hope it gets better. That's what I want you to do. After I'm gone, I know some of my disciples would go back to what I said and say, you know, I disagree, masteryonghua. He's full of it. It's okay. You can express your opinion.
Finally, let me share a few words from the Avatamsaka Sutra.
要人欲了之，三世一切佛应观法界性，一切唯心造。
If one wishes to understand all Buddhas of the 3 periods of time, one should contemplate the nature of the Dharma realm. All things are created by the mind alone.
我相信你们要是愿意做一个很好的教授，就跟着这位教授跑，不要被他把你们丢。
I believe if you want to be a very good professor, just follow this professor. Do not let him lose you.
他走到什么地方，你就跟到什么地方。他跟不上，你就用手把他腿抱住，他就跑不了了。
You, wherever he goes, you follow him there. If you can't keep up, use your hands to hold his legs so he can't run away.
所以那时候，你们将来一定做一个很好的上师。
So, in the future, you will surely become a great good knowing advisor.
谢谢蓝教授和他们和蓝教授这些个好学生。
Thank you, Professor Lan and all the good students of Professor Lan.
我讲的是很平常的道理，希望他们做一个不平常的人，就是做一个大丈夫，不平。
What I'm saying is a very simple principle. I hope they become extraordinary individuals. That is, a great noble man. Being extraordinary is good.
今天来到这个安老院，见到这么多的。
Today, I came to this nursing home and saw so many long-lived people. Note, for Americans, long-lived, the elderly, is they live long enough to get senior discounts. For Chinese, long-lived might mean 90+ years of age.
这世间上长寿的人是最尊贵。
In this world, long-lived people are the most honorable.
最尊贵的人不是自己尊贵自己，是受到一般人的尊重。
The most honorable people are not those who honor themselves, but those who are respected by ordinary people.
因为受到一般人的尊重，所以他们就有一些个 发慈善心的人，把这个所有的长寿人请到一起。
Because they receive respect from ordinary people, there are some who develop a charitable heart, inviting all these long-lived people together.
做一个长寿的大家庭，共聚一堂，欢欢乐乐。
To create a big family of longevity, gathering together joyfully and happily.
这欢欢乐乐，就因为平安的关系，所以呀，大家就都非常欢乐，非常高兴。
This joy and happiness comes from a sense of peace. So everyone is very joyful and happy, very happy.
这个老者安居，这是在中国孔子所主张的一种理论。
Now, this theory of an elder being at peace is a principle advocated by Confucius in China.
可是啊，我现在希望各位不要这个老者安置。
However, I now hope that everyone, the elders, does not adhere to this, an elder being at peace.
要怎么样的呢？要老者少之，年老了又要变成年轻一点，不要就安到了这个老的这种境界上。
How should you do it? You want to 老者少之. As you age, you should become a bit younger again, rather than remaining in this elderly state.
越老啊，越应该强壮。所谓老当益壮啊，越老啊越要强壮。
The older you get, the stronger you should become. As the saying goes, 老当益壮. The older you get, the stronger you become. The stronger you should become.
强壮怎么样子呢？在这个有生的时候，要做一点对世界有益处的事情，能做一点什么工作就可以做一点。
Being strong can allow us, while we are alive, to do something beneficial for the world. If you can do some work, just do what you can.
咱们做这个工作，就是要贡献于世界、人类。
This work we are doing is just to contribute to the world and humanity.
咱们人呢，老和年轻本来没有什么分别啊，老也是这个人，年轻也是这个人。
Therefore, for us humans, between being old and being young originally have no difference. The old person is still this person, and the young person is also this person.
不过你在世间时间久了，就认为自己是老了。
However, after you have been in the world for a long time, you start to consider yourself old.
其实你心里要不老，到什么时候都是年轻的。
Actually, in your mind, you are not old. At any time, you are still young.
所以说，我希望各位不要安到这个老的位置上，说我老了，因为
So, I hope you don't settle into the idea of being old, saying, I am old.
我很年轻我没有老你要心里不老那个老他也就跑了他没有办法你。
Because I am very young, I am not old. You need to keep your mind young, not old. Then old will run away. It cannot affect you.
所以他说，在佛教讲，一切唯心造一切唯心造。
Therefore, it is said in Buddhism, everything is created by the mind. Everything is created by the mind.
因为什么你觉得老？就因为你觉得在世间这么长的时间了。
Why do you feel old? It's because you think you have spent such a long time in this world.
其实你就在世界上活了70年、80年、90年、100年，这不过也就是一个眨眼的时候，很短很短的时候。
Actually, you are in this world for just 70, 80, 90, or 100 years. This is just a blink of an eye, a very, very short time.
在这个短的时候，你觉得它很长，所以就觉得老了。所以你要觉得它很短就不会觉得老了。
During that short time, you feel it is long, so you feel you are old. So if you feel it is very short, then you will not feel old.
我希望各位把你们的这个心都变成年轻一点。
I hope all of you can change this mind of yours to be a bit younger.
所谓返老还童 在这个老的时候回来到这个小孩子的这个生活里边去，啊，不要自己以为自己老了。
The phrase 返老还童, in your old age, returning to the life of childhood, don't think of yourself as old.
那么这样子更有希望。这个意思就是老的时候应该按照少的时代。
So in this way, there is more hope. This means that when you are old, you should live as you did when you were young.
说方才呀，说要我们尽量的工作，来帮助这个世界。
As mentioned earlier, I said, we must do our best to work and help the world.
我自己问我自己呀，的的确确呀，是不能工作的。
I asked myself, and indeed, I find that I am unable to work.
我想要做工，这个手也不帮忙了。
I want to work, but my hands no longer cooperate.
我想要行路，这个腿也不帮忙了。
I want to travel on foot, but my legs no longer cooperate.
我想要看东西，这个眼睛也不帮忙了。
I want to see things, but my eyes no longer cooperate.
我想要听东西，耳朵也不帮忙了。
I want to hear things, but my ears no longer cooperate.
想要吃一点好的东西，这个牙也不帮忙了。
I want to eat something good, but my teeth no longer cooperate.
那么这么多的条件都不帮助我。
So, with so many bodily conditions, none cooperate with me anymore.
那么这么多的条件都不帮助我，我呀也没有法子帮助这个世界了。
So, having so many bodily conditions that don't cooperate with me, I no longer have a way to help the world.
你说的很有道理，不过我还有一个方法令你帮助这个世界。
What you said makes a lot of sense, but I have another method for you to help this world.
你虽然眼耳鼻舌身意这6根有这个5根都不愿意工作了。
Although your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, these 6 faculties, for some people, 5 of these faculties no longer want to function.
但是你这个1根呢，还很强壮。你这个意它是没有老没有少。
But your mind faculty is still very strong. This mind of yours does not age, and it does not become younger.
无始无终它随时都可以工作。
Without a beginning and without an end, at any time it can function.
那么现在，我给你一点工作，什么工作呢？
So now, I will give you some work. What kind of work?
这个工作一点力也不费。你无论你信哪一个宗教，不必改变你本来的宗教。
This work requires no effort at all. Regardless of which religion you believe in, you don't need to change your original religion.
去祈祷，你哪一个宗教，你就用你本来的宗教那种方式。
Go pray. Whichever religion you belong to, you just use your original religious way of practice. 去祈祷世界和平。这个世界为什么不和平呢？ Pray for world peace. Why is this world not at peace?
就因为这个人人都不希望这个世界好，他不祈祷这个世界和平。
It's because everyone, they do not hope for a better world. They do not pray for world peace.
你们现在各位这个长寿的人，现在正可以做这种的工作。
All of you long-lived people can now just do this kind of work.
来祈祷这个世界和平，令这个世界上没有战争，没有互相残杀了。
To pray for world peace, so that there will be no wars, no mutual killing in this world.
这个工作比任何的工作都重要。你要是信佛教的，你就以念佛来祈祷世界和平。
This work is more important than any other. If you believe in Buddhism, then you can pray for world peace by reciting Buddha's name.
天会着念南无观世音菩萨，会着念南无阿弥陀佛。
or by reciting Namo Guanxin Pusat or Namo Amitofo.
求阿弥陀佛和观世音菩萨帮助这个世界呀和平，没有战争。
Beg Amitabha Buddha, Amitofo, and Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, Guanxin Pusat, to help this world become peaceful and free from wars.
你要是信天主教的，你就祈祷天主。
If you believe in Catholicism, you can pray to God.
你说上帝耶和华，你令这个世界呀没有战争了。 不要杀那么多人。
You can say, God, Jehovah, make this world free from wars. Do not kill so many people.
也没有天灾，也没有人祸，也没有地震，也没有山崩海啸。
Also, make this world free from disasters, free from man-made calamities, free from earthquakes, and also free from landslides and tsunamis.
这种种的你要信天主教，你天天就这么祈祷。
All such kinds of disasters. If you believe in Catholicism, just pray like this every day.
你要信耶稣教啊，你就求这个耶稣，说耶稣啊，你是上帝的真子。
If you believe in Christianity, then beg Jesus, saying, Jesus, you are the true Son of God.
你呀，能帮助世界。我知道你是有大神通的人你是世界万能的。
You are able to help the world. I know you have a great spiritual penetrations. You are all powerful in this world.
那么现在这个世界这么多战争，你叫他没有战争了，你这样来求。
So now, this world has so many wars. Jesus, tell this world to have no wars. You should beg in this way.
你要信回教的，你就求这个穆罕默德叫清真认主，穆罕默德。
If you believe in Islam, then just beg Muhammad, acknowledging Muhammad as the true prophet.
要清真认主。你要信这个犹太教的呢，你们个人都明白你们这本身的教咯你也有一个祈祷的方法
If you believe in Judaism, each of you know your own religion, and you also have a way of praying.
念你们那个祈祷文是怎么样？天天做这个工作。
Recite your prayers, whatever they are. Do this work every day.
做这个工作，你不要管它 是没有改变的。你就这样做呀，这个世界就会好了。
Do this work. You shouldn't worry about whether there is a response or not. You just do it like this. Then this world will be Hala, peaceful and free from wars.
功德无量无边，不但帮助这个世界，你能以这样子，简直的是直接的。
The merit and virtue are measureless and boundless. Not only does this help the world, but by doing this,
帮助你自己的子子孙孙啊，你的家庭眷属。
simply put, it will directly help your children, grandchildren, and so forth, generation after generation, your family members and dependents.
为什么呢？你这一祈祷世界和平啊，这个世界就没有战争了。
Why is that? Once you pray for world peace, then there will be no more wars in this world. 没有战争，你的儿子也不会被枪打死，也不会被这个炮崩死了。Without war, your sons won't be shot to death by a gun, nor will they be blown up by artillery or cannons.
也不会被华侨战争的那个毒瓦斯毒死了。
They also won't be poisoned to death by toxic gas from chemical warfare.
所以呀，你的儿子受到这个好处。
Therefore, your sons will benefit from this.
那么，永远都没有战争了，你的孙子也受到这个好处了。你孙子乃至于你重孙子啊，都受到这个好处了。
Since there will never be wars again, your grandchildren will also benefit from this. Not only your grandchildren, but even your great-grandchildren will all benefit from this.
所以，你首先这个是帮助世界。你帮助世界，这是大公无私。
Therefore, first, you help the world. You help the world. This is public, spirited, and selfless.
那么，然后你私人也得到直接的好处啦。
So, afterwards, you also personally receive direct benefits.
Okay, let's stop here. He went on and on. There's a lot of stuff. Look at that. How far we come. 120. He quoted the Avatamsaka Sutra. This is a clever way of introducing the Avatamsaka Sutra. And it's not a bad thing to do. It says that you wish to understand the old Buddhas of the 3 periods of time, you should contemplate in nature or Dharma realm. All things are created by the mind alone. It's not something you understand, but just this is a very important phrase that, eventually you will understand. Okay, it's very profound. But he chose a very rather worldly way of looking at it. So he says, listen, you want to be a good professor, follow this professor. Do not let him, do not lose sight of him. Okay, and it's not a bad idea. And I was wondering a little bit later, as when I understood why he was saying these things. Master Shihon can be political too. Remember, I just said that professors have no wisdom. Can I take it back? Yes, too.
Master, I'm not trying to complain, but you might finish all of our slides if you go at this rate. So it'll help if people can ask questions and participate a little bit, because it took 6 of us to translate, and sometimes like within 2 hours we get through like 3-4 slides because it's a lot of information.
Yeah, you did a great job. How far have you got?
Right now we're still okay, but it's just you're going through too much in one day.
Yes, 7.
Amitabha, Master. I have a question, maybe a couple. First question, normally when we come into the Buddha hall, we make 3 bows, and then we sit down, and when we go, we bow 3 times also. But then what about during a chanti, or normally on a Saturday, chant meditation time, when we come in and everybody's meditating, do we still bow 3 bows? And is that okay? The right thing to do? Thank you, Master.
Yeah, you should bow. Okay. So he said, don't lose sight of your professor. Okay, you have a good professor, and then don't lose sight of his professor. Wherever he goes, you follow him. You can't keep up, you hang on to his legs, okay, so that he can't shed you. In the future, you become a great, good, knowing advisor by hanging on to a good professor. See, that's because this is why. There's a professor Lan there, and who brought all is it students, his or her? You cannot tell, right? The last name is Lan, so yes, JMT.
제가 선화상인께서 말씀하신 제 얘기해도 되는 거 맞아요? 네. 지금 선화상인이 말씀하신 교수가 같은 교수를 지금 말을 하는 건가요? 제가 이해력이 안 되는 건지 모르겠는데 첫 번째 란 교수와 이 교수를 따르면 선지식이 된다고 했다가 다음에 일단 한번 끊을게요, 세라님.
Master, Great Master Shen was teaching. I'm a little bit confused when he referred to these professors. I'm not sure if Lan professor and then the professor previously mentioned they're same person.
그러니까 아니요. 그게 아니라 그러니까 처음에 이 교수와 란 교수를 지칭했을 때는 이 교수들을 따르면 선지식이 된다라고 표현을 했어요. 네. 한번 끊을게요.
If you follow this professor, you'll be a good knowing advisor. That's what he said.
근데 이제 어떤 특정인을 지칭하지 않고 그냥 프로페서라고 하고 나서 그냥 교수를 따르면 교수가 된다라고 말씀을 하셨어요. 두 번째 다음 파트에는 네.
And then he says if you follow a professor, then you could be a good knowing advisor.
그러니까 제가 이해가 안 되는 건 이 교수가 정말 대학에서 가리키는 교원을 말하는 건지 아니면 앞에 교수와 그러니까 같은 단어인데 다른 뜻이 있는 건지가 제가 일단 혼란스럽거든요. 아 그래요. 다시 마지막 부분. 그러니까 이 교수가 대학에서 학생들 가리키는 교수가 맞나요 지금?
So I kind of misunderstood. So is this professor is the one who's teaching in a college?
I have no idea.
그러니까 상식적으로는 교수를 따르면 잘 돼야 교수가 되는 거잖아요. 상식적으로. 네. 교수한테 배워서 그 사람이 잘 성장해야 교수가 되죠. 결국. 뭐 잘 돼봐. 예.
So normally, if you follow a good professor, and then in the future, you become a good professor.
그런데 이제 그리고 앞에 선화상인이 지칭하셨던 이 교수와 란 교수를 따르면 선지식이 된다고 했는데 제가 선지식에 대해서 갖고 있는 백그라운드 인포메이션은 그가 가르치는 제자들을 최소한 아라한 이상을 끌어올릴 수 있는 사람이 선지식인데 교수를 따라서 선지식이 될 수 있다는 게 좀 상식적으로 납득이 안 돼서 질문 같은 교수를 말하는 건지 같은 신분인 건지를 제가 질문 드린 거거든요.
So when Great Master Shinhwa mentioned this professor and Lan professor, what I understand about good knowing advisor, at least they need to be an arhat to lead their disciples.
No, not necessarily. I think what happened is Professor Lan here was most likely from a community college, and he or she was teaching Buddhism or spiritual studies. And they often go to the temples, they visit temples to learn about the various teachings. And they would bring their students, and they come back, and the students would write an essay or a report on what they learned. That's what happened, I think.
그냥 교수는 다 제가자인 건가요? 아, 네. 그러면 지금 계속 여기에 등장하는 교수가 이 교수, 란 교수, 그냥 교수인데 다 제가자인 건가요? 그러면?
So all these professors that he mentioned in previous slides, are they lay people?
Yeah, they're lay people.
그럼 그러니까 이 교수와 란 교수를 따르면 선지식이 된다는 거예요. 그 사람을 따르면, 그러니까 제가자인 이 교수와 란 교수를 따르면 그러면 내가 가르치는 학생들을 아라한의 지위로 높일 수 있는 선지식이 된다고 말씀하신 거잖아요. 슬라이드를 제가 제대로 이 슬라이드를 이해한 게 맞는 건가요? 그럼?
So I'm not sure if I understood this, the content of Great Master Shinhwa's teaching.
You don't have to understand.
이해할 필요가 없다.
He's BSing her. He's saying things he doesn't believe. But sometimes in polite company, you need to say things that to save people's face. Okay? Yeah. So imagine, just think about the opposite. If he were to say, I really don't like professors. Professors are so stupid anyway. What do they know about Buddhism? What's going to happen? This professor will come back, Professor Lan will come back and say, I hope you had a good time, because I really chuckled when he said, I'm stupid. And you know what? He's so deviant. You don't need to write a report. Okay? So sometimes for low-level people, you need to compromise a little bit. There's no harm in that, because it's a professor, so you don't want to make this professor lose face. That's more important than the content of the message. Okay? That's all. Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. Cordelia has a question. It doesn't really relate to the slides. Is that okay that I ask?
Sure.
She says, Amitabha, Master, what is the difference or similarity with these terms, marks, dust, and form? Thank you.
Mark is anything that has characteristics. Anything has marks. Okay? Mark is what you describe things with. Its color, its shape, its smell, its weight. On and on and on. That's mark. Whatever you could use words to describe is a mark. Okay, that's all you need to know. Don't try to understand everything, because it's not meant for you to understand what mark is for. It's about what to do with it when the time comes. Understanding is so overrated. Okay, you see, I need to understand mark. I don't care. I teach you about marks, but I don't necessarily tell you about it until the right time that I explain more. Okay? Because it's endless. If I talk about marks, it takes forever to explain to you. What about next? Dust, right? Dust are the objects that come in from your the six sense organs. Meaning dust is a sound, is a dust. The smell is a dust. Form is a dust. Touch, okay? An object of touch is a dust. And what else? Your food is a dust. And then whatever you think of is also a dust. What's the next one? The third one. Form is what has solidity and a shape. This here, what you see here is a form, because it has a shape and it's solid. You can feel it. So anything has two characteristics, a shape and it's solid. That's why it's called form. Okay, anything else?
Yes, Master. There's now a question from Robin's Nest. Amitabha, Master, I have a question relating to Great Master Shenhua and what he said in a previous slide. When he was speaking about praying in your own faith, am I to understand that the sentiment is more important than the religion? Whether Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist, good intention in prayers matters more. Is that the message? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
It's about your well-meaning, your good intentions. But through your good intention, you pray to someone who is stronger than you, who has more power than you. That's a normal. We all pray sometimes. But instead of praying for ourselves, primarily, he says, pray for world peace. It's better for you. That's correct. Okay? So he's being political here. He said the good student of Professor Lan and so forth. And that's why you should stick to Professor Lan, because Professor Lan will help you open your wisdom. Yeah, right. It depends on what wisdom. We're talking about worldly wisdom, he's not wrong. I'm not interested in worldly wisdom. Worldly wisdom, you don't need me to spend time on. Worldly wisdom, you can go to the university and learn worldly wisdom. Go on the internet and read about worldly wisdom. You need me to explain to you what transcendental wisdom is and how to open it. Okay? So it's very simple. I hope all of you will become extraordinary individuals and the great noble men. Okay, not ordinary at all. Okay, so he's basically, this is his real message. It's not about Professor Lan. It's not about the students, the good students. But he says, after he stroked the egos, he says, well, you should set higher goals of being great men than just a student. You see, so he made up for himself. He says, you should follow your professor to learn to be a good knowing advisor, but then he corrected himself right here. He says, but I want you to be bigger than good knowing advisor. I want you to become a great man. Okay? Not ordinary at all. Okay? So you have to listen to his subtle messages. And this is a new topic, okay? And I'm told that I need to slow down. It's not my fault. So I stop at 8:50. That's how I'm going to limit it, okay? Today I came to a nursing home. So many long-lived people, okay? I should have stopped. This is a new section. In this world, long-lived people are the most honorable, not in the U.S. In the U.S., honorable, it means you have money, you have power. No such thing as elderly people. Here, actually, our society, we shun old people. Okay? But that's the Asian value system. You live long enough to have a long life, then we should honor you. This is the Asian value system. It's not a bad thing. Okay? Most honorable people are not those who honor themselves, or those who are respected by ordinary people. Why do you have to be respected? I don't know about you. When you get to be older, like me, I'm not quite old yet, okay? If I'm not 90 yet. But even right now, I don't want to be respected. Are you kidding me? Why do I need to be respected? Isn't that seeking? Huh? So you do things in the back of your mind, say, I hope I'm respected because I do these things, because I'm supposed to do these things, because I'm old, because if I do this, I'll be respected. This is why I differ from him. Was taught by Bodhisattva a long, long time ago. When I first started at Master Thichvinhhoausa's temples, I didn't learn much. But when I was very unhappy that they all let me down, didn't meet my standards, okay? Bodhisattva came and said, shouldn't draw so much attention to yourself. You're better off being unnoticed. And I really appreciate it, okay? To this day, I don't want to be noticed. Trust me, I can't care less. I don't want to be famous. What for? I don't want to have power. What's power for? I'm perfectly happy without power. Since when do we need to be respected by ordinary people? Okay? But this is a Chinese value system when they said, you have a long life, therefore in the end, you should deserve it. You should make yourself worthy to be respected. Okay? I understand where they're coming from. Okay? However, I just want to share with you my values. Okay? Don't respect me, please. Leave me alone. if you become disrespectful to me, and plenty people are disrespectful to me, it never bothered me. I'm so happy when they are disrespectful. I say, wow, I can do anything I want. Excuse me. Okay? So, if anything at all, I like to influence you on this point. Because the more you cultivate, the more you don't want to be noticed. And respect is because other people notice you. And to me, it's a failure. So I don't want you to practice, to cultivate, live your life, excuse me, and hoping to be respectful by the time you're ready to die. What for? Seriously? I'm 90 years old. How does your how does your respect help me at all have a happier life? And actually, at 90 years old, when people come to me and show respect, I know they're after my temples and my money, especially my disciples. Pastor, I'm your boy. I'm your girl. Yeah, right. Okay, so yes, for Asians, it's understandable. It's a crowning achievement. For me, I can't care less about crowning achievements. And they receive respect from ordinary people. Ordinary people, one moment they respect you, next moment they don't respect you. So if they're respectful, so what? Because I know they're going to change their mind eventually. Okay? But this is Asian value systems. It's not a bad thing. But I'm teaching you something a little bit more advanced. Okay? Truer to the Chan spirit, our Chan spirit. No seeking. Do not start with this. Say, I hope by the time I'm older, I have a long life, I would have earned my respect. No, don't even go there. Okay? Just live your life. And if people don't notice you, you're better off. There are some who develop a charitable heart, inviting all those long-lived people together, create a big family, longevity, gathering together joyfully and happily. Not a bad thing to do. And to me, I see it here in the U.S. and also in Korea and in various places where we have old people gathering at a park and doing. To me, it's beautiful. You don't need to be 90 years old. How about just doing that? That's to be encouraged. There are plenty of good people, good-hearted people who do that. Okay? And they're happy. I see them happy, dancing away. I'm so impressed. I wouldn't be able to do what they do. And now he's moving into his point. It's not old people, but a sense of peace. Joyful and happy, very happy. Okay? Because he claims that to be elder, according to Confucius, is to be at peace. How true is it to you? Never mind about Master Shenhua. Let's talk about Confucius. How true is it? I'm asking you, Chinese people. Back then, in his times, is it true that older people are at peace? Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. Maybe it should be the other way around. Because if the society is peaceful, and it will enable you to live longer. Because if there's you live in a war-torn period, and you die young.
It's true. It's so true. But is it true that old people are at peace in his times?
Based upon how
In the history of Chinese history, is it true that old people at his times were at peace?
Not really.
Or in even later times when Confucius became widely adopted by the Chinese cultures, is it true? Was it true that older people were at peace?
Not really.
Anyone? Taiwan? Korean? You Koreans are Confucian society. Okay, so he says it. Okay, let's continue, see what happens. I hope I don't adhere to this elderly at peace. How do you do it? Okay. Okay, so he says, I hope you don't want to become old and at peace. I want you to become younger. Okay. And see, this is where this is missing link. He's trying to say something, but the example he uses to me doesn't flow. I don't think that old people are at peace myself, because I've seen too many old people. Our temples, we have a lot of old people. They're grouchy. I talked to two old women last Sunday. I know they're grouchy. They come to me and say, okay. So they're grouchy because their bodies are not working. They're in pain inside. Okay? So that's why he says, you should not think of yourselves old, you should become younger, okay, instead of being older. Good point. Okay? And so is that also Confucian thing here? The older you get, the stronger you should become. Lao Dang Yi Zhuang. Yeah. Okay? Is that also Confucius? Look it up. I need to double check his sources. And I have you Chinese people, so that's why I'm taking advantage of it. Oh, I should stop. Okay? Time's up. Stop here tonight. Thank you, everyone.